Well, Darren, it really is great to see you again.
Thank
you. Have you played this course before in tournament conditions?
No, I haven't played here before at all, from what I can remember. I'm getting old and a little bit forgetful, but I don't think I've been here before.
And you flew in last night, I believe.
Yes, in from Dubai last night, so I had a great sleep on the plane and then got here in the middle of the night and didn't know what to do after that. So, but managed to get a few more hours, so I'll be a little bit tired today, but okay by tomorrow.
You haven't looked at the course yet. Your first look is at the Pro-Am.
Mm-hmm.
Great. Well, I suppose I need to lead into the Ryder Cup, under a year to go.
Uh-huh.
I noticed when I was looking at your bio, you've been vice-captain twice before.
I have.
What did you learn from that, and what are you going to take that with you to next year's Ryder Cup?
Well, I've played in a few of them as well, so, I know both sides of it, both as a player and a vice-captain, but there's been a lot of things to do behind the scenes which you didn't know. As a player or a vice-captain, you rock up, go to your room, you have a itinerary, you have all your clothes, everything's laid out for you. You've got to be here at X, Y, Z. This is what you got to do. This is what time you got to be there. But it's all me having to make all these decisions now, so it's a little bit different. But there's other things going on as well with behind the scenes of it, which I wasn't aware of. But it's good though. It's exciting. Our qualifications obviously started. A lot of young guys are playing very well. Got a lot of points up early at this stage. So at the moment, it's looking as if there's going to be quite a few changes. There's always a few changes. But in saying that, the older, more seasoned guys probably will start collecting a few points again, starting off from next year. So it's going to be interesting. The Americans obviously are going to have a very strong team as always. But I think the European squad and the European team is going to be very strong as well.
Okay, great. Questions, please.
Darren, obviously on the Ryder Cup, most weeks you tee up now, I imagine half of you is looking at the other players in the field who might be on the team and their form. This week that probably won't be the case. What does that do for your game?
Well, I've been hitting the ball not too bad for quite some time. I've just been scoring terribly. So, I went to Matt Kuchar putting style there about a month ago, trying to get used to that a little bit. And, down here in Australia, as well as having some of the best golf courses in the world, you're renowned for having some of the purest greens in the world. So if you miss putts here in Australia, it's down to yourself. It's not to do with the greens. We're always fond of blaming the greens if we can, but they're pure here. So hopefully that'll be a little bit better. I played an event in Dubai a couple of weeks ago there, a miniature event, which I'm patron of, and I finished second there, so I played a little bit better again. So hopefully carry on with that and have another good week here again.
Mark,
we've heard a lot about the quality of the courses here in Australia. What's your experience playing here, and from an international perspective, what do you get out of playing in Australia in these conditions?
Well, this is the Australian Open. It's one of the oldest tournaments in the world, and to have the opportunity to come back down here again is fantastic. I've been down here quite a few times throughout my career. I've been on tour a long time now, so any time I've been down here, I've enjoyed it. I've played. I don't know, Mr. Huggan there, Bernie probably know all the courses that I've played, but I've played quite a bit down here, from Perth to Brisbane to Sydney and stuff. So I really enjoyed coming down here. Some of the old ones like Metropolitan, some of where else have I played? Kingston Heath, Royal City, all the courses. I really enjoyed coming down here because you have some of the best turf in the world to hit it off, and it gets breezy. So it's very similar to playing possibly links back at home. Only it's about 80 degrees warmer here than it is at home right now at the moment, so it's a little bit different. But you've got fantastic golf courses down here, so it's always a pleasure to come back and play.
Bruce,
Darren, just on that, was Coolum the last time you played here?
That was with the dinosaurs and things. Yeah, it was different, but yes, I enjoyed Coolum.
Okay, thanks.
Anyone? Yes.
Awesome. Why? Pete Senior is one of the nicest guys in the game. He works and he's worked and he's been a great player for a long time. I think it's wonderful because it still shows that guys like Pete, seasoned veterans, the modern game is what we are perceived to that. It's kids that hit it so far and overpower courses. But then you have people like Pete winning last week, which shows there's still a bit in this game which is experience and guile and thinking and knowing what to do. But again, I think that's why our sport is different to all other ones. You have a 56-year-old guy winning another big tournament in the world of golf. There's very few other sports that actually happens, where you can have kids as young as 16, 17 competing against guys at 56, and the 56-year-old comes out on top. It doesn't really happen in that many other ones. So personally, I think it's great. And I've known Pete for a long time, so delighted for him. It was brilliant.
Next.
Just to change gears a bit, Darren, Adam Scott spoke last week about the Olympics. He's not a great supporter of golf being in it. Jordan Spieth spoke yesterday about him treating it like a fifth major. I wonder where you stand. You're probably not likely to be in any team, possibly, but what are your thoughts on golf in the Olympics? Is it just a generational issue that we see between those two?
Well, I grew up. I'm old. I'm 47, so I've been around for a while. I grew up watching the Olympics, thinking that it was the pinnacle of any amateur's career. That was the way that I grew up, and my opinion still is the same. Whilst I think it's wonderful that golf is in the Olympics, that it spreads our game to, the likes of China to get more people playing and grow the game even more. For me, I'm quite pleased that I won't be there. It's not really something that I would ever have thought about. But you have, as you say, it's a generational thing now. So maybe a gold medal is obviously a huge thing that people want to win. From my point of view, would I prefer to have an Open Championship or a gold medal? I'd take my Open Championship all day long. That probably will change as long as golf is still inclusive in the Olympics, maybe a few years down the line. But for me, I've been one that's always thought that it should be the pinnacle of an amateur career.
Is it something you've talked about with other players, or is it a topic amongst players, or is it something only we ask about?
It's not really a topic at all. It's going to be limited to obviously a small group of players, so it's not really something we comment on an awful lot or talk an awful lot.
Jim?
Darren, could I ask, does the dynamic for an American team with Tiger Woods not playing and being on the support staff, does that make him a different US team to him actually being part of the playing group?
Well, I think to this day, I think we'd all agree that a fit Tiger Woods playing the game is only good for the game. He brings in so many people want to see how he's playing, whether he's playing great or playing poorly. The interest that he generates is huge for the global game. I think with Tiger and knowing him as well as I do, he'll be massively keen to get involved, as he's shown us by accepting Davis's invitation. I think he will still be trying desperately to be playing on the team, but I think when you have a player of Tiger's stature involved in their team, I think that can only be better. A lot of the young kids in the American team wouldn't have seen Tiger in his prime. They wouldn't have played with him in his prime, but they know how good he was and how good his record was. So certainly I think he's a great addition to Davis's side, whether that be playing or behind the scenes as a vice captain.
On the same subject of vice captaincies, there's a report in, I think, one of the Irish papers today saying that Thomas Bjorn is about to be appointed as your vice captain.
Is he?
Yeah, that's what the report says.
Well, I don't know where. Bernie, is that you? Bernie? Bernie? Are you sure it's not you? No, I haven't. I've just spoken to John Huggan about it there. Vice captains are a tricky thing because the way that we have done it in the European formula has been that our vice captains are prospective captains and guys that are still playing. And because that's the way that it is, those guys are still very, very good players. So I don't really want to go and ask somebody to be a vice captain because that means then that I think they're not going to make the team. So I don't want to insult anybody at this stage. So I will leave it until maybe Augusta next year or something, see how some of those guys are doing before I ask them. Certainly I have 5 guys in mind who I'd like to be part of it. But, I'll wait and see in case 1 or 2 of them have a great start to the year or are playing really well. That if they're playing that well with that much experience, I want them on the team as opposed to being a vice captain. So, as I say, I know who I want, but I'm going to let them play a little bit more.
And so, can you expand a little bit on more about what you want to see from your vice captains?
Well, just guys that have been there and done it before. I think that's the most important thing. It's it's a different week. There's no other week like it. It's one that, I've come down the stretch in major championships trying to win them. The pressure's huge there, but in the Ryder Cup it's even more. And I want guys there to help me make sure that I make the right decisions. I want guys that aren't going to tell me what I want to hear. I want them to tell me what they think because I have them there for their opinions. So they will hopefully afford me their opinions, and then I will go from there. But with guys that have the experience, haven't been there and done it before, that's who I want to hear from.
Next.
Darren, I know you mentioned you haven't played at this course before. Rory came here as a red-hot favourite last year. Have you had a chance to chat to him about the layout?
No, I didn't get a chance to see him at all. He's been too busy winning tournaments again last week. But I watched quite a bit of this last year at home on television. I think I had a little bit of time off, so I was watching it. And with the way Jordan played, especially that last day with the wind and everything, he seems to obviously play incredible. But it looked pretty good on television, so I'll wait and see. And I think today we haven't got too much wind so far, so it's probably going to play a little bit benign. I believe it's going to pick up a little bit more during the week, so we shall see. But I've asked a few guys about it, and they're all full of praise for the golf course. So I'm looking forward to getting out there this afternoon.
Any more questions, Bernie?
Talking about vice captains, are you taking any vice captains to Malaysia in January?
That I'm not sure of yet. The Eurasia Cup, the team was the top 10 were finalised there the other day. So I've got 2 picks to make in a couple of weeks' time. Pretty young team. I think I'll be looking towards a bit of experience there for my 2 picks to help the young guys, because I'm sure some of them are going to make the Ryder Cup team. In terms of a vice captain there, I'll definitely want somebody there with me to see, because I can't watch 6 matches each day. I can't watch every match, so I need another vice captain with me there to look at things and just keep me appraised of what's going on. So we shall see.
I know when they do play Malaysia in January, it's still a good way to the Ryder Cup, but a good showing in Malaysia by some of your team members. How important could that be in terms of your wildcard picks? Too early.
I think it's obviously very early in the season, but I'd be foolish to say, go on away match for either side is quite difficult. So to pick a rookie for an away match is even more difficult. But if their play merits it, then obviously I would do. And obviously all the team and the 10 so far there's only Victor Dubuisson that's played Ryder Cup before. Ross Fisher's played as well. So there's only 2 of them who have played Ryder Cup before. So a lot of them are inexperienced. They've played Seve Trophy before, but they haven't played Ryder Cup before. So, I'll obviously be watching them. I have my stats team behind me already, looking a lot of things with the guys that are qualifying. They're going to give me another full report tomorrow. It's going to come through, and ideas for pairings, etc., etc. So I'm obviously taking it very seriously, and I will be watching the guys closely, because for those guys, 9 out of the 10 so far have won last year. So those guys will be trying to obviously play as well as they can, because they want to win for Europe. But in terms of Ryder Cup, I want to see what they're like and team environment and all that sort of stuff. So it'll be a very interesting week from my behalf, and I'm sure theirs as well.
Mike?
Darren, you mentioned earlier you're winning the Open Championship. What would you say to the guys this week who might have a chance to secure one of the qualifying places that we have, starting looking ahead to Royal Troon?
Of course. Well, with all due respect, while I'm here in Australia, the Open Championship is the biggest and best tournament in the world. So anybody that's got an opportunity to tee it up there, it's all, if you tee it up, you can win. If you're not in the tournament, you can't win. So to get an opportunity, what the RNA do to give these qualifying spots, I think is wonderful around the world, because you may end up with guys that wouldn't be able to make it over to regional qualifiers, etc., but they have an opportunity to play well here and then go and play in the biggest and best tournament in the world.
Mark?
Darren, have you won any other national championships other than the Open Championship?
Have I won other national? I'm bound to have. Haven't I, Bernie? I don't know. Yes. Yes, you do.
Scottish?
Yes, I have. I think yes, I have.
And what would it mean to you if you're able to get over the line this week? What would it mean? Does the term National Open mean something to you?
Well, the Australian Open is one of the oldest tournaments in the world, so of course, you've had some of the best players in the world coming from down here, and the likes of Peter Thompson, Greg Norman, etc. Many more than that, Adam. But Australia's always what's happened when I first came out on tour. It seemed to be that there was a lot of Australians came to the European Tour, played in the European Tour first, and then went on to the PGA Tour. And we still have a lot of Australians doing that these days. And with the quality of courses that you have down here, it's wonderful to see those guys coming over and playing. And as I touched on earlier, because your golf courses are some of the best in the world, it's great to be down here. And I would certainly, for one, I'd certainly love to win this week.
Mark?
Darren, with utmost respect to the Ryder Cup, do you get sick of answering questions about it in deference to your own game?
No, the Ryder Cup for me is a huge honour to be captain. You know, at the moment, it's difficult for me trying to figure out a balance between playing competitive professional golf and doing the Ryder Cup captaincy. But you know, it's great. It hasn't been too chaotic. I've had quite a few things to do. I'm sure that's going to change somewhat next year, where obviously the Ryder Cup's going to take priority over playing. But at the moment, whilst I have the opportunity to keep on playing, you know, that's why I'm here and playing as much as I am around the world. But you know, it's great. The Ryder Cup is going to be, it's something very special, as I'm sure you all know. You watch it. It's a wonderful tournament, and it's one that you know, I'm certainly very proud to be the captain. And for one, I just hope that we bring that trophy back home to Europe again with us next year.
Is that okay?